Hi guys, welcome to M&E Made Simple. I'm your host, Coach Alexander. If you're here for the very first time, don't forget to subscribe to this channel because on a regular basis I post updates in relation to monitoring and evaluation. I want to talk about, first of all, let me start by saying I'm sorry that I haven't been posting as usual. It's been super busy these past few weeks, but I haven't forgotten all of you. So I'm so glad you've continuously supported my efforts. So today I want to introduce you to a book which I started reading. Okay, I started reading this book 3 years ago. It's called 10 Steps to a Results-Based Monitoring and Evaluation System. And this is a World Bank publication, but of course the authors are down there. It's a very good book. Now, this book, guys, is free. I got this for free on the internet. Okay, I hope it's still free. I hope there's still a link. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure there's a link where you can download this. So just simply type these words into Google, and at the end you type PDF. You'll be able to download this book. So I wanted us to talk briefly. I won't spend too much time talking about this, but I thought maybe I would discuss about a very important aspect of this book, which is called the Monitoring and Evaluation Readiness Assessment. Okay, so as you can see, chapter 1 is actually the first step to building a monitoring and evaluation system. So maybe let me break this down for you. If you're a consultant hired to build a system, an M&E system for any organization, the first thing you ever do is what is known as a readiness assessment. So this readiness assessment is done in order to determine the level of preparedness of that organization to design, develop, and implement a monitoring and evaluation system. So if you click page 39, after downloading this book, go to page 39, it details you how this is actually done. But I've read this before. It doesn't give you the actual tools and methodology, okay? But it just gives you some kind of roadmap of how you should be doing this readiness assessment. Now, let me talk about this. If you look at this book, if you read through it, you're going to discover that actually it is more aligned to the national context. It doesn't go to the organizations. So if you are running an organization and you read this book, you may feel that it's not speaking to your needs. But I can tell you this, that it's actually speaking to everyone's needs, even if it's talking about the national context. So now you might be asking, what is first of all, why do a readiness assessment? They do explain the why. Most experts look at the what questions, what are the goals, okay? But the question is, why are we really doing this? Why are we doing M&E? Okay? Why do we need to do the M&E readiness assessment? If you read through, you discover that the issue is simple. You want to sustain this system. You want to have a system that is running and being sustained. So now there are three main parts of the readiness assessment, which I want us to talk about. And just in case that you feel this is kind of boring, there are some timestamps in the description below. So just click those timestamps so that you can skip certain parts of this video. So now the first thing which I like to, and this is actually true, incentives and demands for designing and building a results-based M&E system. So as a consultant, let's say you're asked to do a M&E readiness assessment for an organization. So as a consultant, you need to determine the incentives. What is really driving the need for building this system? Who are the champions? of this system. So when we say champion, we're simply talking about those individuals who believe that this is a system to bring a difference. What is motivating them? So those are the questions you need to ask, because the first thing that comes into our minds, if someone wants to do something, there must be certain reasons why they want to do it. And once you determine those reasons, then you're able to know how best once the system is built, how best it can be sustained. Okay, so then another question you can ask is, who will benefit from the system? Who will not benefit from building the system? So those questions really play a crucial role, and I can tell you why. Take, for instance, if the people that are driving this system build up are actually the donors, so you know straight away that actually you need this system aligned to the donor requirements. Simple and straightforward. Because if there is a de-link between what the donors want and what the system is offering, then it may not be sustained, because it will be of no use even to the donor. So you need to ask yourself those questions. Another question you need to ask are the roles and responsibilities, and if there are any existing structures for assessing performance. So I'll give you an example. If you walk into any organization, they'll normally tell you that they'll normally say that they have a system in place, but in actual sense, they don't really have that system in place, an M&E system. What they have is some kind of reporting system. So what we're saying essentially is that you cannot just conclude that they have an M&D system in place when in actual sense there's a reporting system. But it will help you determine what areas need strengthening. And that's why you need to actually ask this question. So currently, what do they have in place? Remember, this book has been written for the government context, but it can actually be contextualized in your organization. So certain questions you can ask yourself is, what actual resources are available? What staff members are available to actually drive the implementation of the system? Another question you need to ask yourself is the capacity building requirements for a results-based system. It's interesting because each time I've had this experience when I go to my manager and propose to that manager that I would like to do some kind of short-term capacity building training. They look at it as a cost, but I can tell you that whatever capacity building that you are requesting is actually adding value, not only to you personally, but to the organization, because you need this capacity to sustain the system. Imagine if you hire people and they don't have the technical skills to run the system. It can be a big problem. So the questions you need to ask are: one, what are the skills of, okay, instead of civil servants, you can say staff. What are the skills of staff in terms of data analysis, budget management, and report writing? Is there any technical assistance needed to bridge that gap, to bridge that knowledge gap? Are there any institutes or research centers that can help assist in capacity building? So those are the key questions you need to ask. So those three overall questions need to be asked in order to fulfill the capacity, I mean the readiness assessment. If you read this book, you discover actually there are 8 key questions again. Now this time, yeah, in the field, doing the readiness assessment, asking these 8 questions. Okay, so some of these questions I won't go into detail, but I would expect that after this, you download this book and do a bit of more reading. So the first question is, what potential pressure are encouraging the need for this M&D system? Who is the advocate for this system? What is motivating the champion to support such an effort? Who will own the system? How would the system directly support better resource allocation? How would the organization, the champions, and the staff react to negative information generated by the system? Okay, now let me touch about on this one because I like touching on it a lot. Normally, when we have an M&D system in place in our organizations, we have different reasons for having this developed. But I can tell you one thing. If the only reason why you have the system running is so that you have good information or good results being generated, then I can tell you that your priorities are misplaced. Because when you have a system like this one, you should also expect negative information, because when that information comes, if it's negative, it's supposed to help you take corrective action and make the needed improvements. So that is why, if when doing the readiness assessment, you discover that staff and champions react negatively to information that is negative, then essentially the organization is not ready to implement this M&D system. So I would want you to do a bit more reading so that you bring this into context. Another question is, where does capacity exist to support a results-based M&D system? So the capacity usually is in-house. But what I've seen also is that you can spread your wings and work with other like-minded organizations in implementing this M&D system. How would the system link project, program, sector, and national goals? The same thing. Okay, so please, I hope you've enjoyed this short presentation. I hope it wasn't long for those who are busy. Take time to use the timestamps. Now, I also have to say that I may not have the link for this book because I downloaded it a long time ago. But just go to Google and type 10 steps to a results-based M&D system, and I'm sure you get this book. So until we meet again, I've been your host, Coach Alexander. Bye.